Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of
Froxty's Redstone Breakdown.
and today we are gonna be looking at item sorters. So right here we have a very small item sorter, and this is an example of what the item sorter can look like when you design around the item sorter. And this is an example for what it can look like when you design around the item sorter. Sorter. So right now our item sorter isn't connected to anything just yet, and we actually have two designs that we can use. So one of them is using a line of hoppers over these sorting hoppers, and if you cannot access any ice, this is a very good way to make your item sorter. But if you have access to ice, you can just place your ice over like this beside these sorting hoppers, and it is actually much faster for the item to travel around your item sorter, and it is also more suitable for a more large scale item sorter because it is more lag friendlier and also much more faster for the items to go through all of the sorter. And if you can see right here, we have a bunch of chests right here, and we actually have two ways of dealing with all of those items that don't fit into one of these chests. So if you are using a hopper over all of these sorting items, which I will talk about how they work later, but right here you can see we have a line of hoppers over the sorting hopper, and we can actually just make the hoppers over them, just make their way into these chests, and everything that doesn't go into one of these chests will get deposited to here. But if you're using packed ice, you can also make the same thing. Maybe you can place a hopper at the end like that and connect it to wherever else you want to store them, or even destroy them by putting a cactus at the end. But anyways, that is enough talking, and let's look at the redstone. So right here you can see it looks weird. How this looks is very complicated, you might think, but how it works is very easy. So right here we have one of these sorting hoppers. So you can see here's 4 bone blocks and 41 of the bone blocks. So this hopper is sorting bone blocks because you can see it is filled with bone blocks. So right here we also have the same configuration, but we just replaced the bone block with block of gold. Same with this one, and this one. So depending on what you want to sort, you just have to put the items in the hopper in this configuration, and you just have this hopper to know how much items are in this hopper. And if there's happens to be a bone block flying through right here, and because every other hoppers are filled with the other items, so it can't just stack onto one of these grass blocks because it is filled with grass blocks and only can be stackable with grass blocks. So for example, if a bone block is sliding through and there isn't any places to let it go into, but once it reaches here, because it can stack onto one of these slots. So it will stack onto this first slot because everything that goes into the hopper will try to get as close to the left slot as possible, because it will fill this one first, and then this one, and then this one, and so forth. So that is how it works. If there's extra bone blocks in here, it will extend one more signal and unpower this redstone torch and letting one of the blocks through. But once it reaches back to this 41 and then 4 more bone blocks, it will immediately get locked, so the items in this sorting hopper won't change. So now let's look at the material list. So this is one of the slice of one of these sorter, and if you want like 5 more, you just times this by 5. And also this only includes the blocks right here and the redstone, so you have to also gather some more hoppers and chests for you to build the actual item sorter. So let's get all of these items. This can be any building blocks you have, as long as it is a full block and a solid block. So first, of course, you need to put down where your chests will be. So we'll just put like 3 like that, and maybe 4 blocks tall. So now we have all of the chests like this, and because of how the item sorter works is it sorts by column, so you can actually stack as much large chests as you want, so it won't interfere with the redstone or anything. And also, if you want more items to be sorted, you just have to add more slices. So like this, we have the chests, and then we just put in all of the hoppers facing into the chest. Once you have that, it should look something like this. Every hopper is redirecting into the large chest. Once you have that, you have to get not this building block, but whatever building blocks you have, so that you can place the hoppers on like this. So you can either put it facing that way, or even this way, so it is all the same. So once you have something like this, you have one more layer of hoppers that doesn't do anything, and that will be your sorting hopper. So you put a block underneath the hopper and off one block, just like this, so that you can put your comparator like this to get the signal of this hopper. Now put your blocks like this so it makes an L shape, your redstone dust like this, and then your redstone torch in like this, so you get something like this, and then put in a line of blocks like this, so it is diagonal from this lowest block, and then put your repeater on those blocks, all on the first stick. You don't want to put extra delay into the repeater, and then a blocks like this, again a line of redstone dust like that, and then you just fill in the gaps on top of the repeater, and then redstone dust to finish it off. So you have the item sorter all done, and you just have to put in the blocks into the item sorter so that it can actually sort items. So once you have all of the redstone in, now you can put in all of your blocks, and make sure don't put in all of these blocks into the sorting hopper before you have done your redstone, because if you didn't build your redstone first and there is no redstone torch locking this hopper right here, the items will just flow through the system all the way down here. So all you need to do is 4 blocks like this, and you can notice that the blocks isn't going anywhere, and you just put in 41 blocks, or just any number more than 41 blocks, because it will automatically suck the item out into the correct place. So you have the excess blocks right here, and it will automatically lock at 41. And you just do the same thing for the other hoppers, so just like that. And make sure all of these are stackable by 64, because it won't work if it is stackable by 16, because if that's the case, you have to redesign the redstone a little bit, because all of those items that are stackable by 16, your comparator will get higher redstone output than those that are stackable by 64. And same goes to those unstackable items, because if you fill all of these with unstackable items, there is literally no way it can sort anything. And also, unstackable items also have a higher redstone strength than those that are 16 and stackable by 64. So once you have something like this, you can actually cover up the redstone with some designing, maybe like this, or you can actually just build a wall, maybe like this, so that you won't see all of those ugly redstones. And also, if you plan on using your ice to transport the items through the item sorter, make sure you don't have one of these chests in the way, because what you want to do is like this. And if you have your chest like this, you won't be able to open the chests. So make sure you have one more gap in between the ice and the chest. And if you want 4, you can actually just add one more hopper at the back, so your sorting hopper will be on top here and your ice will be here. So it is all changeable. And there's a trick for you to place blocks on top of these large chests, because if you place normal blocks, you can see that it won't open. But if you use blocks like slabs or stairs, those non-solid block and not a full block, you can actually open the chest like that. If you use stairs, it will look like it is a full block, but it isn't, and you can just cover it up like this, so you won't notice anything weird about these stairs. And there are actually a lot of blocks you can use. You just have to see which one you want to use, and you can just cover it up and have an item sorter like this. And all that's left is to design your item sorter. Maybe you can put some item frames like this, so you can know which column is which item. And if you don't know how to wire this backside here, there's actually some trick involved. If you are using ice, you can actually line up the items in between the ice and the hopper so that it can slide through but also get catched by these hoppers. So one of the way you can do it is using chest or cake, and you just put them like this, and make sure you have water pushing the items. So right here it is a little bit inconvenient because you can see it is a little bit weird putting in the water and the cake. And also make sure that you have to block off the water stream so that it won't flow like this. You just use some signs or just pressure plates and it should fix itself. So maybe something like this might work. Well, I believe it can work. Let's check it out. I'm actually curious. So maybe like this, your item will like go through here. So you have to figure out a way for your items to actually go through the item sorter nicely, and you just have to make sure that the items are partially on the ice and also the hopper, so that it can slide through the item sorter very fast and also not get stuck on one of these hoppers. So that will be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed the video and learned something new, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe. So I'm Froxty and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! Please subscribe.